Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV with my co-host Jeremy Scipio.
What's going on, people?
What's up? And we have a group that is dear to my heart because they're dear to the heart of the dude that sold me my favorite bulldog. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bandolero Bulldogs. You know what I'm saying? You laced me up with a proper dog as well as some culture. You know what I'm saying? And we have from the Expanders, Butcher.
What up, everybody?
What's up, man? I appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Miss Nancy Artiaga, mover and shaker, make it happen. Uh, ringleader of many circuses, you know, boss lady. So this is a show where I kind of like to go into the background of bands and kind of like look at who they were before they even started playing music, like on not like a personal level where I get into your person, but like junior high school, all that kind of stuff. So I gotta throw the hip hop in there.
Right on.
When did you hear hip hop for the first time?
That very vivid memory. I was in 6th grade. I was over at my friend Dan Agoni's house, and his older brother Frankie had, this was cassettes, the cassette era, So he had cassette tapes, and I was looking through, and I seen it was the Chronic, the first Chronic, but on cassette, and he had it in the tape deck, and I pushed play, and dang, I was hooked right from that moment on. And I think he had 2 other tapes in there. He had House of Pain, that the record would jump around, and then he had the Black Sunday, the Cypress Hill record.
Man,
so those 3 were the first that I heard.
Man, I remember it's so funny when you said that, because me, I'm a little older, so when I think of hip hop, I think of like Rapper's Delight was kind of an introduction for me.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in California, man. We didn't have the East Coast and all that nurturing or whatever. But I think of Rapper's Delight. But then when I was I could say my feet were cemented into it. It was like Beastie Boys, Run DMC, LL Cool J, like the whole little Def Jam thing. Yeah. But when you said Chronic, my mind immediately went to like Cypress Hill, because I can remember cats bumping Cypress Hill, and I remember the Just Kill a Man and just like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And hearing it, and it was crazy because it was like I didn't know what a sample. Well, I knew what samples were, but I really you just never heard a bunch of samples going crazy the way like on that album they went crazy. Like Cypress Hill, they hooked up with or Muggs, he hooked up with this guy I knew, rest in peace, Skate Master Tate, who he was like one of the original 45, like LA, like African Bambaataa, and those guys would come to his house and go and shop for records like back in the day. He was that cat. But that's tight.
So what city did you grow up in?
Van Nuys, California. It's like about it's in the San Fernando Valley, which is about 30 minutes north of Los Angeles.
I live right next door to Van Nuys. I live in North Hollywood, so
I'm in Northridge now.
Okay, moving on up.
Yeah, baby.
Cool. In junior high school, what music were you listening to?
Hip hop. That moment in 6th grade really, that was it for me. I kind of was into that for the next, from like 6th through 11th grade. I really dug hard on 90s hip hop. Got way into Tribe Called Quest, Gangstar, Cypress Hill, Dre. Who else was I listening to back then? Who's that one? Paperboy and the Diddy? Who's that? You remember that? Remember that? Like,
hey, let me tell you something. Me and the dudes from the Pharcyde, I told them Paperboy was hard, man. I told them
that thing slapped, man.
Because their first manager, he did record promotions. And so I want to say he probably had a living room full of those records. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And so I was I messed around with DJing, but I was never really dope. I more or less got a pass because I was messing with them. So it was like kind of like, you know, people wanted to get in their good graces, and so it's like, oh man, put Smooch on. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I reaped a little bit of the reward. But when did you hear reggae for the first time?
That was probably around the maybe I was like 15 or 16. My dad had been listening to it at home for years, and I had heard it, but it didn't really strike me until that age. Mm-hmm. I think it probably had a little bit to do with the weed smoking, but you know, I noticed it at that point, and kind of was immersed in it in reverse. You know, I didn't really get the plastic experience. You know, I'm going to use that loosely, but you know, like the Bob Marley. You know, because my dad was into it, I was kind of indoctrinated with the more obscure stuff. You know, and that was falling right in line with the hip hop stuff. You know what I mean? Because as I was getting into all that hip hop stuff and finding out they were digging through records, and then you know, hearing some of the names being mentioned that were similar, you know what I mean? It just it was kind of the next thing for me. And you know, really evolution of music wise, hip hop in my opinion started in Jamaica. Drum and bass, dub, all that stuff like that, all that DJ and toasting, that was it before it even came over here. So you know, it was a perfect marriage in my opinion from what I was listening to at that time.
At what point did you start playing?
Right around that age.
Okay.
I think maybe 12 I like picked up a guitar, but didn't really take it seriously till about 15 or 16.
Okay.
What type of musician would you classify yourself as when you first started playing? Was it well, or let me say this. Okay, you said you picked up a guitar. Were you just strictly kind of like on reggae and stuff like that, or did you go through a rock phase?
I did the whole rock phase, the punk rock thing, like let me learn the Metallica intro, you know, like all, you know, the whole, you know, I did it, all the pop stuff, the K-Rock stuff, you know what I mean? Just
oh man, back when I was younger, K-Rock was the coolest thing. It's like right, you know, I listened to K-Rock probably about a week ago. I hadn't heard K-Rock in like years. And when I say years, I could say 10 years or better.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because it's like, when I listened to it, you know, they played cool music. You had like, I'm gonna date myself.
It's all good, get
it. Richard the Blade, and you know,
it's all good.
You know,
Richard the Blade.
Ah man, he was from the UK, man. He was a cool dude. You got to hear it. Yeah. So I'm dating.
There it is. You're done.
Yeah, no, Nancy would probably know. She it's before her time, but I'm sure that she would know. But it's a trip because K-Rock was like, they were really talking, and they never talked on K-Day. Like, I mean,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just more or less just straightforward music, and then the DJ would come in and say like a little something. But it's crazy how like podcasting, more editorial, like it doesn't have to be the morning show for people to like talk, engage with each other and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of dope. So what was the name of your first band?
It was called the Ents. It was a punk, like I want to call it like skate punk kind of style, and it was named after the trees in Lord of the Rings, those walking trees.
What was the meaning behind the name, the Expanders? How we get there from Ents to Expanders? So
in the history of that, I don't exactly know the real story behind it. It was thought of at a moment in time, like when the group formed, it was like happened really fast, kind of. And I was maybe like a second round draft pick into that at the time. So I didn't quite understand the meaning of the name at first. It was always joked about as like a, you know, getting stoned reference, smoking weed, you know, like a mind expanding kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's pretty much what we tell people.
You know I mean? So wait, everybody feels the same way? Like nobody remembers? Y'all all was just so high, y'all forgot the reason why y'all named it that?
I think it's gone up in smoke like that, man.
Oh man, that's great.
Nah.
You know, now I think it just means, you know, we've evolved. We'll figure it out.
No, like I said, man, you guys are dope. You know what I'm saying? I know we were talking off air about it, but I was saying like the reggae movement that the Expanders are part of it's very similar. The Tribal Seeds Expanders type of fan, they kind of carry the same amount of passion that like the hippie jam bands and all that kind of stuff have. Like I was saying,
yes,
you know, the fan is not like a hip hop fan that may watch a couple videos on YouTube, you know, go to a Spotify or whatever. Your fans are rolling up, showing up, caravanning up.
You know? And they do the whole tour with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you be freaking out like, how you, I know what that drive just was. I just did it. What do you? But that's not, that makes the experience all the better. You know what I mean? Because you do get to, there's a definite family vibe. I mean, pick your battles, obviously, you know, there's it's a wild bunch of people out there, but I've come to have a nice group of people that I can call close friends as a result of that experience that you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's always good to have people that you met on the common ground of music. And then when you see them, it's like, oh, family. Like at first it was kind of like, ah, then you're like, oh, okay, they're kind of cool. And then when they show up, it's like, oh man, you know how you
yeah, no, I mean, you know, it's even got to the point with some people that I've met where, you know, they'd be flying out and staying with us now. We just kick it, come out and have sushi. You know what I mean? Like, smoke you out with some California weed and we'll hang out.
You know what I'm saying?
Where do you get sushi from?
There's this spot in Northridge that I like called Katsuya. Then I really don't really go anywhere else. It's so good.
Yeah, I never had it out there, but yeah, Katsuya. I remember they had one in Hollywood.
Yeah, they have a couple of them. I think there's one in Studio City, one in Hollywood, and that one in Northridge.
Yeah. Well, shout out to the foodieisms. Usually, we have some foodieisms going on, you know, here and there.
I'm a foodie, man. Let's get it.
Nah, hey man, I have to hit you up on that, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Nancy on the phone to organize a meeting of the minds.
Hey, that's what she does. You know what I'm saying? I went to search out a bean pie today, and my homeboy, I went to 2 of his little spots. He wasn't there. I looked on his Facebook, hadn't posted since March. I'm like, man, I hope the homie's all right, man. Yeah, no, I usually sweets are my thing. You know what I'm saying? I kind of I kind of get off into that. So with all these shows, all these tours, what would you say is the most memorable moment that you've experienced while on the whole Expanders trip?
That's a hard one to answer. We've done a lot of cool stuff. I'm really, really blessed with what we've got to experience. So I would have to say it was before we started touring. We actually emerged into the reggae scene as a backing band for some of the Jamaican artists that were coming from Jamaica to LA in their later years to perform. You know what I mean? Some more obscure artists. So, for example, we got to back Alton Ellis. We got to back Pat Kelly, Stranger Cole, Leonard Dillon from the Ethiopians, Willie Williams, Prince Jazzbo, some pretty obscure cats. But if you're into like you know,
the OG Toast,
the OG shit, then you know it's the heavy hitters. You know what I mean? And succeeding with them was huge.
Mm-hmm. Nah,
there was a point to this, but I got derailed there.
Yo, you're so funny.
There was a point to that.
Hey man, you're in a reggae band. We give you a pass.
All right.
Yeah.
Not circle back on that question. I want to answer that.
Y'all have like jam sessions, right?
Yeah.
Is that how y'all come up with music?
Yes. So our recording, we have a studio that we work at, and it's a rehearsal space and our recording studio. Mm-hmm. So everything is pretty much set up to go. So if we get an idea, you know, on the spot, we can, within a few minutes, we can be ready to roll, because we record live straight to tape, which is a kind of obscure way of doing things now, but we want a particular sound, and we do it a particular way.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. So if you had to give me two, it could be MCs, DJs, reggae bands, popular music, or hip hop. Who would you say your top two musicians, bands, whatever? Who would they be?
One, I would have to say that influence-wise, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd would have to be probably number one on that list. I don't necessarily go down that avenue too much nowadays, but in terms of what, you know, that was the most pivotal person that I studied, you know what I mean? I really went down the rabbit hole with his playing, and that opened a lot of doors for me. So that would be one. And two, I don't know, that's so tough. I would have to say Wes Montgomery would be the second. Jazz was introduced through Tribe Called Quest for me, and when I started figuring out who they were listening to, that was the next phase where I spent years going down that rabbit hole. So those two guys, I think, are the one and two.
That's pretty impressive, man. That's I wouldn't have thought that one.
So yeah, well, I feel like you kind of probably answered the question, but who are your biggest influences?
For the, I mean, just I'm drawing into the reggae thing. For the reggae thing, man, that's tough. I would have to say the same too, man.
We gotta spin it back, man. If there was a reggae band that you heard was playing, we'll say you're in Van Nuys, or you said no, you're in Northridge.
Yeah,
Northridge.
A reggae band playing tonight in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody hit you up right now, says they're going on at midnight.
Oh shit! It's like who would I make the drive for?
Who would motivate you to hop in that car and be like, "It's no way I'm not gonna miss it."
Oh. Dang. Like a modern band? That's what you're saying right now?
Dead or alive.
Dead or alive?
Yeah.
I would have to say the original lineup of the Wailers.
Oh wow.
You know what? I was gonna say that, but I was like, let me not throw that in there.
I had to do it. The original lineup, you know, when that early 70s lineup is just too good. Like, I would have to see that. They didn't tour it, you know, Bunny didn't want to tour, so you rarely, you know, that studio experience that I love so much, nobody got to see that.
You know,
or a small number of people got to see it.
Yeah, and I don't think the record industry would ever let that happen again on a large level, like that much talent. You know what I'm saying? Like that much talent because it's you know, people don't think about it that way, but the record industry, I mean, it has been great to us by delivering us music, but the process that it took to get the music to us, like I watch Get On Up.
Yeah.
The
James Brown movie. I watch it over and over and over again. And I'm like, man, James was dope.
Yeah.
Undeniable. But his band was tight, dude. And he had like several bands that were like, and they were all tight. And the company was like, okay, we understand, but
man,
we
that beats see James. Now you just open up a whole other one, man. That's why that might have to get squeezed in my list somewhere. Hey. Yeah, James is that guy's amazing, and like you said, that his bands he demanded so much of his bands.
Mm-hmm.
You had to earn your seat for real.
Yeah.
I wish that would still exist a little bit more in the nowadays music.
Shots fired. Sheesh.
I mean,
hey, I can recall on the reggae kind of, you know, information and ska and all that kind of stuff. I remember going to a No Doubt show when they were ska before they were pop, and watching Angelo on the mixing board for them. You know,
wow.
That's like that's rare.
Yeah, like on some old school, just straight up ska stuff, whatever. But it's a trip. It's like, I think that bands were doper before because being in a band was almost like being an athlete, you know, but back in the day before everything became digital and that kind of stuff, it was like a way for you to get to like a higher level maybe of education, or just, you know, whatever. Like if you were a musician, you could get into programs and stuff like that. Now with everything being kind of digital, it's just not the same passion behind it.
It's not. That's something that we definitely try to, you know, I told you how we record, and sort of the mentality that I try to run our program with is that earn your chair. Like, do it like the Motown days, man, where it's like, if you didn't hit it that day, like there was 3 other people waiting right there that was gonna take your seat, you know what I mean? So throw down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta bring it back, man.
What do you think about the differences between reggae and reggaeton?
Well, there's a few classifications of reggae. Like reggaeton to me is a little easier to classify as like hip hop, sort of drum and bass mixed with, I want to say like reggae toasting or like that DJ style stuff. I don't really hear too much like, you know, guitar or key or, you know, anything else that reminds me of reggae other than the vocal phrasing. But I think it's a really happy marriage, you know what I mean? It really works for me. What's that group, Los Racas from Panama, right? That really started that movement, doing the reggae and hip hop mash together.
Yeah, I you know, when I think of reggaeton, I think of reggae. Oh man.
But like with a Hispanic twist, is that what you trying to hear? That like the Millennium Falcon crash, baby. What happened?
Oh man.
Where's the
Hey, you look like somebody opened the bathroom stall on you. You look so caught.
Oh man, nah, because you know something popped up and it said you've been kicked out of your meeting because somebody else signed in, and I'm like, who else is signing in?
Chewbacca.
Yeah, man, Chewbacca. He was mad, man. I was in the Millennium Falcon. He had to come and bang on me real quick. You know.
I had to get one Star Wars in there. It made me happy when I saw your background.
You a big Star Wars fan?
Yeah, I love it.
What's your favorite one?
I like the OG ones. the first trilogy from the 70s. But out of those three, probably Return of the Jedi.
What do you think of the marriage? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'll say people get mad, but mine is Revenge of the Sith.
Word.
Is one of the new ones, but it's really basic why. And no Star Wars fan can argue against me on this one.
No.
It has the most lightsaber fights.
Absolutely.
And the best ones.
Fact on
Not
that.
even close.
Fact on that. I wouldn't even argue with you. That's a great one.
It's a great one. It's so Obi-Wan doing his thing. He fought a whole planet. General Grievous had like 5 lightsabers. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, the fight scenes were so sick in that. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It was really good.
And then Anakin told Obi-Wan told Anakin, he said, look, don't do it. I got the higher ground.
Dude,
he told him that.
You get a little baby goosebumps at the end of that when you seen that because you knew he was going to do it, man. I said
he deserved it, man. I'm like, ugh, that's like when a kid think he's getting ahead of himself. Like, bruh, look, all that training, all that, you weren't even ready. You should have waited to go evil, bruh. I ain't even show you all my tricks.
Trying to get ahead of yourself, you know? No legs, dude. You ain't getting ahead of nothing.
And he was just a nub afterwards. Just a crawling nub.
That's it.
Yeah, I was like,
Anakin floor walker.
I got a question for both you guys. What do you think about the marriage of Star Wars with Disney now?
Shit. I mean, I like Disney for its like, you know, make me feel nice and warm in my blankets kind of feeling. but I think, you know, things can be Disneyfied, if that makes any sense to you. You know what I mean?
Of course.
You get those like Disney endings and like, oh, here comes the same story again, repackaged, you know?
Yeah, love. Yeah, no.
I don't want it to get softened up. Like, get it, you know, make it.
I got a thing against the whole music industry. Sorry. I'm so used to saying that. That's funny. the whole movie industry. The whole
you got things industry. Against a lot of stuff, Jeremy. You just ready.
Well, no, because I have thoughts.
For what?
But basically, I think the biggest issue with Star Wars being bought by Disney is because we just saw it. I think they're too into fan pleasing or subverting expectation instead of just making a good piece.
Yeah.
We witnessed with this recent Star Wars trilogy what fan participation could do to affect a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they wrote a bad movie, but then they tried to correct it. So now you're looking at like this zombie of a Frankenstein of a piece, and they know it. They knew they messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I feel like, but I don't feel like that's Disney exclusive. But I'll say when you don't have somebody like George Lucas in the captain's chair making executive decisions like I want it my way because this is my vision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have a boardroom of visions. Like what's they look at it like what's the percentage of kids that will watch this? What do they want to see?
Yeah.
Well, we must have a cute robot and a business. You know they're like making a checklist. And
that's exactly how the movie feels when you watch them like that. It's just like, oh, here comes the Yoda scene with the fur, and here comes the, you know what I mean? It's so.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, they know they messed up. They know they messed up, and they messed up the whole franchise. They're trying to fix it, but it's just hard to fix. Like, you have 3 grandstanding movies. You can't fix that. You got to make 3 more movies.
Yeah.
Either you guys have Disney Plus or whatever the streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've been on the fence, man. I'm like, man, I got all these subscriptions. I don't even watch Netflix, but maybe like once a month, twice a month, or whatever. I just have to have something. I was like, okay, do I get Disney Plus strictly because I'm a Star Wars fan and everybody's going crazy about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Mandalorian's what's up. If you haven't seen that, jump right in, man. It hit all the Star Wars buttons for me and felt super fresh and it was sick, man. You're gonna love it.
Someone said A New Hope. I'm about to make him feel real bad about. We have like a little chat, whatever. A New Hope had the weakest lightsaber fight in the entire franchise. Period. Fight.
Straight up.
They was poking each other.
Oh my God.
This what y'all like? This what y'all into? These are the same guys. Like, yo, y'all both went from, it wasn't even that many years past. It was like, what, 16 years, however old. You know what I mean? I'm like, 16 years, y'all can't lightsaber no more. Like, y'all forgot how to lightsaber. They was going hard on Revenge of the Sith and then A New Hope. I'm like, man, I hope they both die.
He's dumb, anyway, man.
That's just my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah, retire him.
Sorry, Aiden. That's who the person I'm gonna say. Sorry, Aiden. The New Hope sucked.
yeah, Aiden. Jeremy Scipio's a comic. You know, he's not a bully. He's a comic. That's what he is.
I'm a Star Wars fan. That ain't got nothing to do with me being a comic. I like real movies, real lightsaber fights. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, good. So, Butcher, what's the best advice you've ever been given?
Well, it's two things, and they're both musical. One was create space so others can fill it. So I like that approach to music. And dang, I had to give you my music advice, and there was one other one. Oh yeah, I was on tour with Al Anderson from the original Wailers, and he asked me who my favorite modern band was, and I went off on this tangent how I wasn't really listening to modern bands at the time, and he kind of like, I don't want to say he scolded me, but he pointed me in the right direction about just supporting anyone that's doing anything creative around you, because we're all trying to do the same thing, you know. So why would you be putting anyone down trying to make a living doing the same thing you are? And that was a big eye opener for me. So that some musical advice, you know, don't step on people's toes. And some life advice, just support the arts. We're all trying to do it.
Yeah, my family's from Mississippi, and we tell good stories and eat a lot, and we know how to make barbecue, smoke meat. That's what we do. So, I'm gonna repeat a story I've told a million times. So I used to be a purist when it comes to hip hop, and just as far as like secular hip hop, like hip or like hip hop that's going on right now, like I was just closed to it. I was like, man, these dudes are mumbling, they're wiggling around, they're not dancing the way we used to dance. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going off. So I was talking to a DJ homeboy, and you know, I said, man, please help me. Like how do like you have to play some of this new music, like you know, like how do you play it? Like how do you like it? And he said, well, you know, you're judging it by old school hip hop or older hip hop music, where you may have had like dope rapping, a dope hook, you know, style, the beat dope, whatever. And my DJ homeboy, he was like, dude, you can't listen to the new music like that, like with that same mind state.
Yeah.
You either gonna have a dope beat, you're gonna have a dope hook, you're gonna have a dope rap. It's gonna be something. And he said, if you can find that something and kind of tune into that, then you can appreciate the new. And so there's a lot of new stuff that I'm like, okay, it's not just horrible. It's different than, you know, than what I did. But then there's also some young cats like, man, that are out there doing it. I'll say Kendrick definitely opened me up, but I think that's kind of like a cheat because he's like a very popular dude. So it's not like, you know.
I say this, guys, Kendrick has been rapping for more than 10 years. He's not a new artist. You can't use that as an out anymore. 5 years or less.
I might have to
5 years or less. 5 years or less. If we're talking about new guys, modern people. You can't.
I'm gonna have to pump the brakes on telling stories, man. I'm an old man. I'm dating myself, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just the fact that, you know, Kendrick, you know, it is a cop out. I trust me. I love Kendrick, but it just be like Kendrick, your J. Cole's, your Big Sean's, your Drake, all those guys. They're getting old now, man. They like they legends now. As weird as it seems.
Dude, people probably talking about Kodak Black is old. You know what I'm saying?
It's a little, but he's made legends. He's like the Gucci Mane of this era, because if it wasn't for him, then you wouldn't have Cardi B. You wouldn't have. I think like Stallion stole from him.
That's
what I mean? Like he kind of, a lot of people stole from him or taken from him and did great things, greater than him, quote unquote. So, you know what I mean? Right. I like one project of his, but it's hard for me to. It's really hard, you know. I'm like you in that way. It's hard for me.
I'll say this: if you want to listen to some dope hip hop, and I've never said that before. DJ Premier remixed the Nipsey Hussle, a Nipsey Hussle album, and I guess he might have mixed it. I don't think it was like an official. He put it out, but it's just like Nipsey Hussle rapping over Premier beats, but he did it.
Ooh. Oh my God, Premier's one of the. Premier's like top for me too, man. Holy cow, I gotta check that out. I'm gonna listen to that on the way home.
Yeah. 2 questions. First one, I'm gonna ask the second one first. Yeah. Bob Marley or Peter Tosh?
Tosh, all the way.
Tosh. Okay.
He's so hardcore, man. That guy was aggressively aggressive. I love it.
You said that so fast too. Peter Tosh is. And also, where'd you get your name?
Get what?
Butcher.
That's my last name.
Oh, that was easy.
Super simple. We got too many Johns in our band, so everyone just started going to the last names.
I thought there was like some history, like, maybe you saw a butcher, like.
Oh no, I wish there was some cool story to it. Just the last name game.
See. Okay. Was it Aiden? So Aiden said Bob Marley. I've listened to more of him and got to catch a fire in Soul Shakedown.
Yeah.
So that was a question. Peter Tosh. I gotta see who Peter Tosh is. This is crazy.
Oh, but Peter's a writer though, dude. Like he was like, man, he was the.
Check this out. If you're gonna start digging on his music you might not think is the greatest. It was very poignant and aggressive and militant. I was more into how he conducted himself as a human being. You know what I mean? He just did it. He did what had to be done and was kind of in your face and unapologetic about it. And I gravitated to that for some reason. You know what I mean?
No, that's dope. The thing about it is, and back to me talking about how when you have the record label and bands and all that kind of stuff, it was like Peter just wasn't down with everything, man. And he didn't mind saying that he wasn't down with everything. Yes. But the problem is when you got a Bob Marley, the James Brown, and you got a Peter Tosh, he's dope. He's dope. He's Rasta. He's an incredible musician. The label's gonna kind of be like, man, we might not need a dude that wants to be so vocal and outspoken.
Yeah,
this.
They definitely pushed him back, but reggae, like musician history wise, Tosh played guitar on so much great stuff, and if most of the wah guitar stuff you hear in 70s reggae with is him playing lead on it, and super influential. I mean, you hear wah guitar in almost every reggae thing nowadays. He really pioneered that. So yeah.
So you guys actually just cleared up a Nas reference for me. He has a song called Thief's Theme, and in there he mentions Peter Winston McIntosh. So yeah. I didn't know who that was, but then I'm up here looking. I was like, Peter Tosh Winston.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, snap. And I went and looked at the lyrics, and it says it, yeah. Listen to Peter Winston McIntosh lightning hits top of church people when I'm writing. But no, anyway, that's tight. Thank you for that.
Hell yeah.
Cool, man. Jeremy's a super Nas fan. Just to add that to the...
Yeah. I try to avoid mentioning him. I let other people mention him, but it always comes up. Anyway, what is your album making process?
Well, we write collective, together. So it's not so much like one person comes with like, here's the song, everybody learn the parts. You know what I mean? It's more like I kind of have this vocal melody. Here's the chords I'm doing it at, and then together we'll just start playing. And one of the things that's carried this band for years is the writing on the spot is our bread and butter. We're really talented at coming up with stuff like that. So luckily for us, with the way our studio's set up, we are able to capture that right away. And we just build libraries of rhythms, and then we go back and overdub little things that we need, and slowly this is how we've been doing it lately, more approaching it as a collection of singles, just to keep dropping content and then slowly build an album. Okay. But writing together and recording like right when we get the ideas.
No, that's dope. That's dope. So what was the last song you guys worked on?
The most immediate one, we did a song with our friend Ethan Tucker, he's a singer from Washington, a soul type singer. But he flew down to LA and he had a song that he wanted us to redo in like our expander style, and he wanted the whole treatment, the live recording, the to tape, how we do our vocals, one mic, everyone, when we do our harmonies, we use one microphone and we'll adjust ourselves accordingly until we get the blend right in the mic. So he wanted that whole treatment, so that was the last one we did with him. It's called Morning Time.
So where were you when the pandemic jumped off, when everything got shut down?
We actually had just got back from a month-long tour, and I'm pretty sure we all had COVID when we got back, some kind of flu. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, we were on tour for a month. We got home, and literally everything just stopped right as we were unwinding from that. So I was thankful I got a final tour in like the month before.
Yeah, I landed in LA the day that Kobe passed.
Oh shit.
And I had a really nasty cold, like maybe like 4 days before then. And I couldn't tell if it was jet lag, and I know I was sweating a lot and whatnot, but I mean, just traveling anyway. The one thing that I'll say that COVID taught me, by me limiting my access to people, haven't been sick, haven't been sick, where you take it for granted, all the hands you slap and all the sweat and all the, in the same space. Like I told people, I felt bad because when we go to Japan and I see people on the plane and people walking around the airport with the face mask, I kind of say like, man, they doing too much. Like, man, this, is it really that? But really, we're the Westerners. We're kind of disrespectful because if we have a cold, we won't put nothing.
Mm-hmm. No, you might even get a little open, a couple of those sneezes on you. Yeah.
Come on. Our whole coughing game is jacked up. I never remember they said cover your mouth and cough.
Right.
That's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, no, in your I try to in your thing.
I always try to do that one.
Yeah.
A little
I know this though. I know that I feel just about as offended when I hear somebody cough as I would hear somebody fart, man. It's like, man, when somebody cough, it's just like, oh man.
Right? Dang, it flipped upside down, bro. It was like this. Shit.
You could have went somewhere, man.
We used to say, God bless you when people sneeze. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm pretty sure that went out the window when COVID hit.
Right? Straight up, huh? I used to be turned around and walk the other way. Yeah.
So
how have you been busy during the pandemic?
And I had a pretty tragic pandemic just personally. We did that tour, got home, obviously finding out everything shut down. And then I was doing some cannabis growing when I was home in between tours. It was, easy way to make money in California, stay in that game. But the situation I was all involved in started getting shut down. So I pretty much lost like everything right away. So I had to figure out how to stay busy real quick. And I started kind of focusing on my personal like music career, you know what I mean? Not just expanders. I started writing more just music I wanted to play, you know what I mean? So I started working on a kind of lo-fi hip hop kind of record.
Oh, wow.
Like I started really focusing on my studio musician stuff. So I was trying to set up sessions with different people and just, keep my tools sharp. And then ended up leading to, that being a viable option for me now to push my solo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's tight. I know a comedian who he's a comedic actor. That's comedic actor. And before the pandemic, he was like, man, I can't get a cameraman. Man, I can't get anybody to edit this. All these different things. I really don't have anybody who's writing content for me anymore, or whatever.
Yeah.
And like within the pandemic, he became a doper writer. He started shooting pictures, taking ridiculous pictures, as well as DPing his own sketches and stuff like that. And then he really a smart guy, man. He's really a smart. You see him as a comedian. I mean, he's a funny dude, but he's like really smart. And then he learned how to edit. You know what I'm saying?
That's inspiring, because I think it went like three ways for people, like that, how it happened to your bud, you know what I mean? And I had the same experience where I knew it was that moment of, it was a huge thing, I could just feel it. It was important to do something productive, to stay ahead of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I knew that was one of those moments, that leap of faith moment, and it just worked for me. The same thing happened like with me and your bud.
So I do want to mention this real quick, because I didn't mention it, but you had mentioned it off air. Yeah, man, you were able to grace the studio with OG Chuck Boogie, man, my favorite Oregon player, one of my top three, one of the top three keyboard players, I'll say, in LA. You know what I'm saying? But definitely on the Oregon, because that's what people get confused. Every organ player can't play the keyboard. Every keyboard player can't play the organ.
Oh, it's a different game, man.
But you get a Chuck Boogie, and he's gonna master. He's just gonna do his thing with both of them. So
that was. First of all, I was a huge Pharcyde fan coming up. So getting to meet and play music with him was pretty damn special, man. And not only did I get to play music, but I got to create and make an album with him. You know what I mean? So there's some foreverness to that I really hold really dear to me, And I got to spend some personal time with him afterwards, like you said, he's a really great guy. Man. His musical knowledge is absolutely insane. And him and I were really tripping out on gospel, because I really like old school gospel stuff, and he would just start playing all this like sorry, not roads, like the B3 riffs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
And I was like, oh, I'm just falling on the ground the whole time. Yeah, he's
that's tight. I'm he's been on my mind for me to call him like about the last 2 weeks, man. But I just been ripping and running, just moving all around. But I'm gonna have to hit OG Chuck up.
Hit him up and tell him Butcher said what's up. He'll remember me for sure. I had a great time with him.
So with all that said, where do you see social interaction going in the next 2 years?
Up and away, man. I think it's gonna go right, right. I don't want to say right back to where it was, because I think people have a different pace now. And feel, everyone's excited to get back to it, but I mean, I guess this is just speaking for myself. I just feel a bit slower. I feel like I'm appreciative of my routine now. And, where pre-pandemic, I felt just like 1,000 miles per hour in every, you know what I mean? Just, I didn't really have any bearings. It was like, this is what people do. You go really fast and you work 10 jobs because you have to, And now I'm a little more,
you value
you know what I mean,
value life more,
yeah.
like living, like for me, like my dad lives 3 minutes from me, and I like when the pandemic first jumped off, like he's an older guy, he was used to getting together with his buddies, having a drink, just all this kind of stuff. And then when the pandemic happens, it's like, man, no socializing for the dude. He's at home, he's watching TV. So I would eat breakfast with him, and I was just like, damn, we're all just, hopping in traffic, trying to just get where we got to get. Well, not where we have to, but where we're going. We're trying to go as fast as we can and trying to do so much stuff. And I feel that as a society, we had lost touch with a lot of like social interact. Like, even though the pandemic made us, I guess, non-social, but the people who you were social with, you got to really appreciate the social interaction, like, man. And then actually,
yes, sir.
Because I do social media like when I have to, but it's really not my thing. Like, I'm not even really a text message person. I tell anybody, if you text me more than 3 sentences, if you're not my business partner or it's not my dad or something, I'm not gonna really read more than 3 sentences.
Yeah, you would hate me, bro. I'll be sending paragraphs, man, because sometimes I don't got the words that come out my mouth. Man, I can organize my thoughts better, you know what I mean? And like say it in a clear way. But text messages are nasty beasts, bro. People hear tones of voices and all kinds of shit, So I know the trouble it can get you in. And if I really gotta say something important, I guess I'd call you, but but I got anxiety and shit, man. I ain't scared.
You're a musician. You get the introvert pass. You get all
absolutely.
Like, man, I do what I do. So you a text message person, Jeremy?
Oh, I was gonna say, if you want me to respond back like 2-3 days later, send me a paragraph. Because there's no way. There's no way. That's that. This is the first text message you're gonna get after 2 days. You're gonna get, oh, just now seeing this.
Yeah. That's my favorite response of mine. But what do you prefer, Jeremy? Do you prefer the 21 word text or like one long one?
You hit me with yo. That's the first thing. And if I get you back and I hit you back, then we can start talking. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be calling you then. I'll be calling you then.
Yeah, call me.
I'll be calling you. And you gonna text too, man.
Like, what's up? Like, what's up? What's good? Like, yeah. 2 days later.
This was dope, Butcher. I appreciate you tapping in, man. This was an interview that I had with the dude in a reggae band, but I feel like we covered so much more than reggae, like that. And honestly, like that's my whole, like with Splendid and Jeremy and the comedy, like what he does and everything. Mm-hmm. I want to have conversations that people aren't having. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably done a million interviews or just whatever, but like people will talk about stuff that's like, my thing is, I don't want to talk about drama. I don't want to get too personal, but I kind of want to see what your journey was to the guy that we're looking at right now.
Well, I had a wonderful time talking to you and I appreciate it. It definitely was enjoyable.
All good. And so you got anything you want to give us, your social media? Let us know any projects you got we need to check out right now.
We got a lot of stuff going on, so kind of just keep tuned into our Instagram. That's really where we're doing most of our social media work right now. Everything is being upgraded. We're going through a transition. Obviously, COVID happened, so just stay tuned through that. But we got a ton of new music. We're working with a bunch of new artists, putting singles out with different people. That's sort of the direction that you'll be seeing us in now, like expanders featuring this person. Boom, ton of new stuff coming out, new merch. So just stay on it with us, man. We worked really hard through the pandemic, and we got a lot of new stuff ready to roll.
And I'll drop your name over to my dude Bandolero, man. He might give me one of them pups I've been trying to get out of him.
I hope so. I'll cross my fingers for you.
Yeah, he's very selective, man, with the dogs that he'll allow people to get, and then his breedings and all that stuff. So,
but I definitely know who you're talking about, and that's really cool. It's just some small world stuff, man. That's cool.
Yeah, no.
Bandolero.
Yep, he's a super fan.
That's cool, man. I'm gonna make sure I hook him up with something for the little reference right here. Throw him some swag or something.
That's tight. He'll get a kick out of it. And you, Jeremy, you just got off tour with Craig Robinson, man. You out there doing the thing.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got 2 shows this weekend. One show is in Vegas, headlining, and then I'm also headlining in Sacramento. And trying to get my comedy special out. That's the most important thing. My comedy special is ready to go. That's more important. Yeah, find everything else. I would say at Jeremy Comedy on Instagram. 2 things. The people want to know your Instagram, Butcher.
My personal one or the band one?
The personal one and the band one.
The band one is at The Expanders. That's the IG. And my personal one is at Butcher, but instead of a U, it's a V. So BVTCHER.
Okay.
_ John.
What? BV?
Yeah.
Okay. And also, they want to know what's your favorite cannabis strain out right now?
Ooh. So favorite strain out right now is cereal milk. But I'm in a current battle with myself if I like the CBX version more or the cookies version more.
Man.
So get that cereal milk and tell me, because that thing's hitting right now.
Cereal milk.
Shame on me, man. I got caught up in the hip hop talk, the reggae talk, the Star Wars nerd talk. Yo, man. My business partner came out with a really cool cannabis oil, man, a vape oil.
Oh, nice.
So, I will get with Miss Artiaga and make sure you guys are set up.
That would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it is a very nice, and please believe me, like I'm not partial because it's the family, but it's like
slapping.
Yeah, man. yeah, it is.
Well, I'm a big old head, so I can't wait to try it out.
Yeah, so we'll get you set up. Well, Butcher, I thank you. Glad to have you back, Jeremy. I'm glad you had a successful tour. And I'm gonna hit Nancy up, Butcher, and slide my info to her so she can get it to you. And then that other stuff we talked about, we see if we can get that popping.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you, guys.
Nice to meet you, Jeremy.
Thank
you
for having me, everybody.